Welcome to Bank One Ballpark in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. The Diamondbacks and the Montreal Expos wrapping up this 3-game series, and the Diamondbacks are gunning for the 3-game series sweep over Frank Robinson's Expos. The Montreal batting order presented by Progressive Auto Insurance. Andy Chavez in center field, Jose Vidro at second, Vladimir Guerrero in right. Orlando Cabrera the shortstop. Brad Wilkerson over at first, Ron Callaway in left. Edwards Guzman the third baseman, Brian Schneider catching, Tomo Oka. And our checker auto checklist on the Diamondback right-hander, 7-6, should have at least 12-13 wins the way he's pitched this year, Miguel Batista.
I think the thing that's admirable about him, Tom, is that he's just done the job. I mean, the hard luck, usually guys sing a whiny song. Miguel has not done that. He's gone out there, done the best he could, did his job the best to his ability, and just, hey, what about it? Nothing I can do. I can just pitch, and boy, he has done that. He's become a real pitcher.
Take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively, presented by Budweiser. Their goal is Gonzalez, Bautista, and Mondesi in the outfield. Hillenbrand over to third tonight, Cade at short. Junior Spivey back in there at second base, and Carlos Baerga, a rare start over at first. Miguel and Barajas Sabateri, and Spivey still a little better off than Steve Finley. Finley really took the blow in that collision between the two in the opening game of the series in short center.
That was some collision. I mean, when you hit head on, and as Spivey said, his head hit Finley's collarbone, and I tell you, Finns, take a look at it. I mean, you have a collision like that, look out.
Finley just banged up everywhere. Said his whole body hurt like he was in a traffic accident.
Whiplash. Tell you, that's a big guy, Spivey.
Oh,
you know, you don't think about it when you see him there. You know, that junior is very misleading. If he's junior, I'm like everybody else. I want to see senior. Boy, there's a pretty good hitter right there. And you talk about pitching inside. He stood over that plate. If you hit him, he took it and went to first base and stood inside just as close as he ever did.
Won a National League MVP award with the Reds. Won an American League Most Valuable Player award in Baltimore. So here we go. Andy Chavez to lead it off. And a first pitch fastball, high, ball one, and we are underway.
I did an interview with him, Tom, that was probably one of the... I was so enamored with what he said, because he gave you the answers. It was about religion and growing up. Very, very bright guy. Frank Robinson, Hall of Fame man.
Frank in his second season with Montreal. They asked him to take the job last year. He thought he'd only take it for 1 year, and now he may be around a lot longer than just 2. 2-0 slider in there, strength.
Managers are like game show hosts, man. It gets in your blood and it just spins you around that revolving door. They changed the name of the show and put the uniform on him.
3-1 on Chavez. 255 batter, 5 home runs, 38 batted in. He can run. You want to make him earn his way on if he's going to get on. He has 15 stolen bases and a 3-1 pitch. Pulled and under the glove of Baerga into right field.
Now, make no mistake about it. People are going to say, well, he should have had that ball. Maybe he should have had that ball, but you got him in it for his bat, not his glove. And you're going to give up some defense and just live with it.
Now to be Jose Vidro. At 319, shows bunt. It's down low, ball one. Miguel Batista in his 4 starts since the All-Star break, all on the road. A 1-2 record and a 193 earned run average. In 28 innings, has allowed 6 earned runs. And the opponent's hitting 200 against him. Falling behind a second straight hitter is Miguel, 2-0 to Vidro.
Well, I said it earlier, but the thing I like, he hasn't moaned at all. Hadn't said a word, just went out and did his job.
Chavez at first, nobody out, just underway here at the old ballpark. Good crowd on hand tonight for this Thursday night affair. The Mets come in over the weekend, and it's 2-1 to Vidro. Don't forget, starting times 7:05 tomorrow, again on Saturday, and then a 1:37 game on Sunday. That'll feature Al Leiter against Randy Johnson. Thom Glavine, Brandon Webb here tomorrow. And then Jay So against Elmer Descends in the middle game on Saturday. The Diamondbacks will be going to Cincinnati and Atlanta after that for 4 games. In Atlanta, 3 in Cincinnati, and then back home for 13 games here at Bank One Ballpark. 2-1, runner goes. Bouncing ball, 5. The shortstop Tatum. So they play hit and run, and it's executed perfectly by a step. And they're on the corners with nobody out.
The hit and run play is usually a defensive play to where you stay away from a double play, but sometimes you're rewarded. Watch how quickly the runner breaks and Kate is going to cover, and he tries to retrace and just can't do it. And now it's 1st and 3rd. Just cannot get back in time. And they played it the way you should, thinking that maybe Vidro would pull the ball. You hold your second baseman to hold his position and let the shortstop cover, but Vidro did a good job.
So Montreal knocking on the door. First 2 hitters have singled. They're on the corners, nobody out, and Vladimir Guerrero the batter. Guerrero at 307, 13 home runs, 46 knocked in. Down and away, ball 1. Guerrero 0 for 3 here last night, 0 for 4 after Manti set him down in the 9th. He had 3 hits in the series opener, including the 5th longest home run in the 5.5-year history of Bank One Ballpark.
That was some home run. Whoa.
Up into Friday's Front Row Sports Grill. Tapped foul. Well, if you didn't see it, take a look at this.
And I'll tell you what, if you chop that up into singles, he leads the league for 4 years. That is a long way. That sounded loud.
1-1 to Guerrero. And a bouncing ball, could be 2. Spivey at the bag, plants, throws. It is a double play. Chavez scores, 1-0 Montreal. No RBI for Guerrero. It's good work there by Miguel. They got a run, but the base is empty. 2 away.
Every ball that's been hit on the ground, so that ball must be moving. The ball by Chavez just did get by Baerga, and then the hit and run play by Vidro. Ground ball to left field, and now the ball hit by Guerrero. Pretty good indication that the ball's alive.
Now Orlando Cabrera. Fastball down and away. Cabrera an even 300 batter, 15 home runs, 63 batted in. Very underrated player, and boy, he plays every day, starting his 83rd consecutive game. 1-1. And going back to last season, he has now played in 120 consecutive games, including all 115 of this year. Off Miguel's glove and right to Junior. Dealing over. 1 run, 2 hits, none left. The Diamondbacks come to bat when we return. Diamondbacks coming to bat in the bottom of the 1st inning, down an early run. Bob Brenly's starting lineup brought to you by Progressive Auto Insurance. Matt Cade at short, Junior at second with Luis Gonzalez in left. Shea Hillenbrand over at third base. Raul Mondesi in right field. Carlos Baerga at first. Danny Bautista in center. Ron Barajas catching. Miguel Batista, the killer bees, down at the bottom of that order. And our Checker Auto Parts checklist on Tomo Oka.
You know, you talk to the players about him, and they talk about his fastball. They talk about his splitter. He's got a slider. He's a competitor. Doesn't walk many. On a roll. You got to say that this guy's a pretty good pitcher, and you better respect him.
Defensively for Montreal, brought to you by Budweiser. Callaway, Chavez, Guerrero in the outfield. Guzman getting his first start of the series, and Wilkerson is at first base. Cabrera and Vidro up the middle. Oka and Schneider the battery. Well, Now Matt Cater to start things. A .303 batter, 6 home runs, 14 batted in. Cater 5 of 9 in the series. A double, a triple, has scored 3 runs. Strike one. Well, the Diamondbacks from the 24th of July through the final game of that Chicago road trip scored 1 run total in the first 3 innings of all of those games. The last 2 games since coming home, they have scored 7 runs in the first 3 innings combined. 0-2 to Cater.
Tell you, he's only made 3 pitches, but we've seen a fastball on the outside part of the plate, a curveball, overhand curveball for a strike on the inside part of the plate, and that fastball outside part, moving the ball around. You do that, you're a pretty good pitcher. Change speeds, good control.
Little flare to short left field, coming on as Callaway's got it 1 away. Now Oka twice this season has taken no hitters deep into the game. At Toronto during interleague play at the end of June, had a no-hitter broken up on a Carlos Delgado 2-base hit in the 7th inning, and then in the 7th inning against Philadelphia, Placido Polanco laid down a bunt. The next hitter, Bobby Abreu, hit a home run. He got beat 2-0.
That's a bit painful.
Now Junior Spivey at .244, 10 home runs, 32 batted in. First pitch fastball in there, strike. Well, Thom Oka gave the Diamondbacks all they wanted earlier this year. That was a Expos opening game at Olympic Stadium this year at April the 22nd. He pitched 6 2/3 scoreless innings. The Diamondbacks had many chances. They stranded 11 runners in the game, 8 of them in scoring position. 2-1 to Junior. So they got guys on, but they couldn't get them in. Hit a mile high in the short right field. Guerrero coming on. Junior retired, 2 up, 2 down. Luis Gonzalez, a .316 batter, 20 home runs, 74 batted in. Gonzo 2 of 7 in the series with a couple of RBIs. They came on that 2-run triple in the opening game of the series.
Boy, he was really hitting some balls in the seats in batting practice. You know, Joe, we were talking about Raul Mondesi and how he was here at 11 o'clock in the morning yesterday working on his hitting. And, you know, another guy, we were talking about Hillenbrand working on his defense, Luis Gonzalez, here for the last couple of weeks, here early trying to improve his throwing arm out in left field. And add Counsell to that list, picking up those slug bunts or those little dribblers down the third baseline.
Jam shot roller to short. Cabrera throws out Gonzalez in a 1-2-3 inning for Thom Oka. We go to the second. 1-0 Expos. For news around the major leagues, Peter Piper Pizza presents Slice of the Majors. What a season it's been for Toronto right-hander Roy Halladay. 16 wins already. Greg Maddux has ripped off 5 in a row to go to 11-8. We'll see him in Atlanta next weekend. And the Mariners flip-flop setup men with the New York Yankees. Jeff Nelson back to New York. Armando Benitez, after going from the Mets to the Bronx, now goes to Bob Melvin's team.
I have to smile when I see that, Tom, because it was Nelson who said he was disappointed in the front office because they weren't making any trades. I said, okay, we'll trade you.
Right. Pack your bags.
Pack your bags, Charlie.
Well, I mean, you talk about a wacky career for Nelson. He was originally a Mariner, went to the Yankees, went from the Yankees back to the Mariners, and now from the Mariners back to the Yankees. 1-1. Low and away, 2-1 to Brad Wilkerson. One nothing ball game. Montreal in front. And that ball tomahawked into right field. A base hit for Wilkerson. Runner up to Jason Jennings for the National League's Rookie of the Year last season. And he begins things in the second inning with a third Montreal base hit.
Nice high fastball. Look at that swing. I mean, right there, man. He was right on it. That's bomb country. You throw that ball there, you can get hurt pitching up there.
Now Ron Callaway. 9 home runs, 43 runs batted in for the rookie outfielder, and a .238 batting average. Tonight is only Miguel Batista's second career start against Montreal, a team he used to pitch for. Back to the mound. Miguel will take the out at first. 1 away. Of course, Miguel Batista, and we talked about it many times, Joe, he really bounced around a lot early in his career. Tonight, in fact, the third consecutive start against a club that once employed him. He pitched against Florida, the Cubs on the last trip, and now Montreal. He also spent time with the Pirates and the Royals.
You know, people say, well, what happens? Why did they let him go? He just wasn't the same guy.
I mean, I guess he would be considered, and you see it in every walk of life, not just baseball, but I mean, like the kid next door. Some people are just late bloomers. Like it might be the kid in your own household. Make mom and dad crazy for about 27, 28 years, and all of a sudden that light bulb comes on at 29. Look at my boy.
Look at my boy. I could have choked him a year ago.
That's right. Strike called to Edwards Guzman, and it's 1-2. Guzman up and down from the minor leagues to the major leagues this year for Frank Robinson. Tonight his 40th game, a home run, 14 batted in. We've seen him the last number of years with the Giants. Short center. And he's got it. 2 away.
I love to watch the play of center fielders. Finley, of course, we've gotten used to, but when you watch Batista, he kind of sneaks up on it. Guzman got under that ball, and then he kind of hunches and sneaks up on it and makes the play. There's a lot of ability, man. When he gets untracked, look out.
2 down, runner at second base, and now Brian Schneider at .239, 6 home runs, 27 batted in, down and in, ball 1. Well, you can tell walking around that clubhouse, Joe, that Danny is really down on himself right now. He's just not the same guy.
Well, he's coming off injury. He's having a tough time at the plate. And it is a tough time. I tell you, you know, you walk up there. Let's say you get jammed with the pitch, and you walk from the on-deck circle to the batter's box. You say, I'm not going to get jammed this time. And they throw a pitch out there that's a ball, and you're so happy to see it out there, you'll chase it, try to turn it over, easy ground ball. It's not as easy as it looked.
Carlos able to stay with a nice play. He'll wave off Miguel, and that'll end the inning. A leadoff hit, a runner left at second. After an inning and a half, Montreal 1, the Diamondbacks nothing. Time for a multi-award-winning rendition of the Fans Speak Out, presented by Nissan and azdiamondbacks.com. James Stewart at Phoenix would like to know, Joe, what can experienced pitchers like Randy and Kurt teach young pitchers like a Brandon Webb?
Well, the things that get in the paper is that when a young fella asks somebody, teach me a pitch, like a splitter or something like that, but that's not the important thing. Guys like Randy and Kurt can teach Webb focus. That you have to have focus on every pitch. You can't let up. That you have to have a definite idea what you want to do with each pitch. Discipline. That's what they can teach, and they can teach that by example and keeping control of yourself. I think he showed great restraint today. He was that first inning when he ended up real badly, even hitting the pitcher with the pitch against the Giants. But that's the thing they can teach.
And there, a strike to Shea Hillenbrand.
But it always tickles me when they say, well, he went up to so-and-so and he taught him how to throw the splitter. You don't learn that in a week and a half. Unless you go to the yellow pages and see splitter.
0-2 to Hillenbrand.
That was a quest strike right there. I don't care what they say. That was a quest strike. And Hillenbrand had to back off and regroup. And then when he went a little further outside.
By the way, James Stewart, we thank you for your question. You have won 2 free tickets to an upcoming Diamondbacks home game. And boy, there are some big home games coming up.
Whoa.
See what Shea has done in the series so far. He had the 4 RBIs in the first 2 innings of this series. Popped up and playable in foul ground for Wilkerson. 4 up, 4 down for Tomo Oka. Well, here comes Raul Mondesi. He had a big night here last night. Even a cut above the eye.
Helmet got him. Like a boxer walking off there.
Mondesi playing in his 7th game as a Diamondback here tonight. Fly ball on the first pitch into short center and quickly 2 away.
Didn't you love Baerga's description of how he prepared for that one swing last night?
Yeah.
That he'd been studying, knowing the guy was going to get ahead of him with the fastball, so he was going to go to the opposite field. And when you saw that swing, you could see that that's exactly what he was doing, because he really did inside out it. He's a good pinch hitter, but he works at it, man. It's not a gift.
Well, you were talking about answering the question about what, you know, Brandon Webb can learn from guys like Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson, among others. A lot of young hitters can learn something like that from Baerga.
Absolutely.
Man can hit.
You know what he reminds me of? A guy I played against, and you'll remember it. Smokey Burgess.
Yeah.
Smokey Burgess could get out of a hospital bed, having just left a coma, on Christmas Eve in a snowstorm and hit a bullet.
Really?
Oh, I hated to see him come up, because I knew he would hit the ball hard somewhere. And I would tell him, Smoke, how can you hit the ball hard every time? I don't know. Heck, he did. He was a good hitter, man. You remember him?
Well, you know, I never got to see him in person play because we had not moved there yet. Yeah, I do remember it. And of course, you know, when you live in that town, you hear about him all the time. I didn't realize, though, he was that kind of guy. I mean, just a great hitter.
Oh, pinch hitter.
Right.
I mean, he didn't have that big high average, but he'd come up and you'd say, oh, wish he'd get a long distance call and have to go answer it, or he's left his computer on. We didn't have computers in those days. It was radio. Oh, he could hit. That's Baerga.
Now Danny Bautista takes outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
They've been busting him inside, and then he chases that ball in the outside part of the plate. Tries to hit the ball up the middle and in right center field. That's when he's tough, but sometimes you wait a bit too long. There it is inside again. Man, look at that equipment. Star Wars.
Yeah, no kidding.
Fastball.
2-1 to Bautista. And that hit him, I think. Yep. Or did it get his bat? They're saying it hit his bat. Must have got that knob down at the bottom of the bat.
Yeah, Danny didn't move. Maybe if he would have started first base and acted it out, he might have gotten him.
2-2. Just off the inside corner. Well, now Baergo gets started over at first. Wilkerson taking a peek in the dugout. And they've told him they want him to play behind Baergo.
Got to get those little wheels going. Got that good sewing machine run. Up and down, up and down, up and down.
3-2. And a little dribbler to the right side. Bieber charging. Flips and Danny get it out. Vidro not moving well. We've talked about it during the series. He is playing with a very painful knee. And it's showing because he is one of the better defensive second basemen in the league.
He knew he had to get rid of it because Danny could run. Just beat it. There's that pitch on the outside part of the plate. Look at him digging now. He ran hard, ran right through that bag. Boy, if I heard that once, I heard it 9 million times. Run through the bag, not to the bag. And we've seen it on that last road trip where some of our guys umpired the play. When you umpire the play, you slow down maybe 2 steps from the bag, and all of a sudden the ball is booted and it can still get you. Run through the bag, not to the bag.
Down to third, and to the bag is Guzman to end the inning. 2 hits, 2 left, end of 2, 1-0 Expos in front. It's time for our America West Airlines Flight Fun Fly Ball Contest, and our contestant tonight, Christine Lally of Scottsdale, has gone with center fielder Danny Bautista. And Christine, if he catches a fly ball this inning, you win 20,000 Flight Fun miles and up for 1 free round trip ticket. Good luck. Diamondbacks on the short end of a 1-0 ball game. And Miguel Batista will be facing the pitcher Oka. Then back to the top of the order in Chavez and Vidro in the Montreal third. Told you Philadelphia got beat earlier today at Colorado. Phillies won the opener of that series. The Rockies win the final 2. So if the Diamondbacks can win this one, they draw to within 3 of the wild card lead. The Marlins are losing right now in St. Louis in the 7th inning, 3-0. Cubs won earlier today. Told you about the Cardinals. And the Dodgers will play at home tonight against Cincinnati. Strike 1 to Oka. 8 of 34 is a batter. Not a bad hitter.
Boy, to have a name like Oka when you sign autographs, there's 4 letters.
Well, I mean, 8 letters total. First and last.
Like Ron Say, Melot. Not Garagiola, Klazuski, Yastrzemski, Kraskauskas. You're there for a week.
Grabowski.
Kate is another one. 4 letters. Oh, man. See, now, he'd be there a while signing that thing.
Miguel can't find a handle. Hillenbrand does. Throws in time. Good alert play right there by Hillenbrand. He kept coming even though it looked like Miguel was going to have it.
Boy,
we talked about Shea's working hard on his defense, Joe.
Tom, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you said that, I'm just saying that's a great example for the young player. Don't assume. Had he assumed that Batista was going to make that play, he doesn't get it. Look at that, barehanded, and he gets his man. Good. This guy's got great work ethic. He really does.
Really does.
He really does. Robin Yount, infielder in his own right. I'm sure he hits him many a ground ball.
Well, Robin Yount and Eddie Rodriguez are the guys that have been out here with Hillenbrand every single day. I mean, Hillenbrand wants to get better. He knows that by and large, even going back to his high school days, his junior college days, Joe, he was always known as a hitter.
I've read that story about him. You know, he just went out there. He wanted to play. He was kind of the ugly duckling kid. It's the old story. Nobody can talk you out of your dream except yourself. You say you can't do it, then you can't do it. But don't let anybody else talk you out of it, and there's a perfect example.
Hillenbrand, of course, the state's player of the year, not only in baseball, but also in soccer. And I know there are a lot of people in You know, in the United States, it had really never taken to soccer, but for those that have been around that game, well, you talk about having to be in tip-top physical shape to play a sport. That is running from start to end. Fly ball to left field, 2 away in the inning.
And I'll tell you, I'm kind of proud of my old neighborhood, the Hill, because they're making a movie called The Game of Their Lives, because 3 of our guys from the neighborhood, Charlie Colombo, Frank Borghi, and Pee Wee Wallace, were on a U.S. team that upset England in the World Cup when it wasn't that big.
Right.
And boy, I'm so thrilled that they're going to make a movie and these guys get the credit, because you're right, man. That's the way we used to condition. When I was playing, we'd play soccer, and then as a kid, that's all you played was soccer, but it was an economical thing.
Bunted, and that will roll.
Just barely.
To the bag. How about that?
Just to finish that thought, you know, you play soccer, I say economical thing. 1 ball, 22 guys could play. Look at it roll. Bounces, get away from that bag.
Well, you know, Joe, 2 of the great soccer towns in the nation, the 2 towns you and I grew up in.
Yep.
Some of the top high school and youth soccer teams in America, in both St. Louis and in Cincinnati.
Chicago was a pretty good town.
Yep. Of course, now a lot of the warm weather states are playing soccer on a year-round basis, and why not? Great game. But for whatever reason, it's never really taken off in the U.S. People kind of...
Not enough scoring.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
And then the other thing, you can't figure out strategy. And I mean, you know, watching the Diamondbacks for the last 2 weeks, if you don't score, you can...
Yeah, that's right.
Woo! Need a Dramamine.
Well, apparently Vidro cracked his back.
Either that or checking it for cork. How could you crack your bat on a bunt?
I don't know. I was going to ask you.
Don't ask me. You know, I've seen bats last night. That one bat that cracked, it was like somebody took an axe from the top to the bottom. That's the way it broke.
It was Bautista's bat, I think, wasn't it?
I don't know who it was, but there was about 5 of them out there. It was like a... I mean, Gonzo broke his bat last night. It looked like a toothpick factory started. I mean, there were splinters all over that infield. Thin handles. They all had those thin handles. Nobody's got a big, thick handle anymore.
1-2 again to Vidro. And a breaking ball in the dirt. 2-2 to Jose Vidro.
You watch the grip on Vidro, we did on that last shot, and with those gloves, it feels like a thick handle bat, but the actual bat, very thin. I mean, he's got those big, thick gloves right down at the very end of it. I needed a thick handle bat when I played, man, because I used the whole bat end to handle. There was no sweet spot on my bat. I was an equal opportunity swinger.
2-2 to Jose Vidro. Full count. Vidro in a little bit of a slump right now, but boy, he will battle. This guy is one of the best hitters in the National League. Started his 2nd consecutive All-Star game this summer. They have broken another bat. Nope, he's taking a look at it.
When guys tap that bat by the end, they're really checking it, but the sound usually is the tip-off.
Did he go? Yes, he did. And a perfect 3rd inning. The first 1-2-3 inning for Miguel Bautista tonight. He trails 1-0.
Diamondbacks and batting 9th, pitcher Miguel Bautista.
That was our little announcer, Bridget Dalton. And if any of you youngsters, 9 through 15, if you'd like to be a little announcer, For an opportunity, just send a B tobacco-free pledge with your name, age, address, phone number, and parents' signatures. Send it to B Tobacco-Free Little Announcer, Post Office Box 2095, Phoenix, Arizona 85001. That was sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Bridget sounding good already.
Yeah.
And she's just getting warmed up. 1-0 ball game. Montreal in front of Miguel, a huge swing and a miss.
Oh boy, I want to be in the ballpark the day that his bat meets the ball. Because when he swings, he's just swinging in tough luck, swinging and missing.
This might be an infield hit. Oka can't find a handle. And Miguel is second hit of the year.
See, he decoyed him with that first big swing. They were playing for the home run, and he just dribbled it.
Now batting, number 11, shortstop, Matt Cada.
He sees a base hit, and he's going full speed. Ran right through it again. Base hit. Miguel, he was looking for the steal sign. He's a competitor, man. He really is. They're looking bunt.
Bouncing ball up the middle. They get one and safe at first.
That's exactly what I was talking about before, Tom. Had he assumed that that ball was going to be a double play, he would have slowed down. But running as hard as he did right through it, it's a force play.
Junior Spivey.
As he stepped on the bag, good throw, got away from Batista. And there's the end of the play. He beat it. Yep, just barely, and he was running hard.
Well, Cada felt terrible about that play that happened in Chicago.
Well, he should
popped
have.
the ball up, and he said he couldn't find it, and then started jogging, and it turned into a huge play in the game. That was leading off the 12th inning in that 14-inning marathon. He said it should have never happened. It did. It will never happen again. He said, I know how to play this game the right way.
That's the important thing. It will never happen again.
Now, Junior, he popped up to right his first time up. Well, Kate is a good kid.
Oh, yeah. So that's what Mr. Rickey used to call errors of enthusiasm, young broadcaster.
That's not Branch Rickey.
No.
No.
That was the other fellow.
Your buddy.
My man.
Long-time partner.
Walter Red Barber.
Indeed.
Never called you by your name. I was Catch. Mizuta was Scooter. Jerry was Jerry. The old redhead.
0-1 to Junior Spivey. Ground ball off the glove and into short knee. Look at Cada making a turn, coming to third.
No coach can help you on that play. Cada saw it, said I can make it, and away he went. A break
number
for the
20,
Diamondbacks.
left fielder, Luis Gonzalez.
Bounces off the third baseman Guzman. Watch Cada. He's going to stop it. No, that ball's going to go to left field. I'm not hesitating. Good base running.
Well, the Diamondbacks are dinking and dunking them here in the third inning. A pair of infield hits. They've not hit the ball out of the infield, and yet they have runners on the corners and only one out.
And good hustling. Cada running hard to first base to get a force play instead of the double play, and then picking up that extra base. He wasn't playing station to station.
Now Gonzalez. Ball one inside. You saw the numbers on Gonzo. We talked about it last night, and unfortunately he popped up with one out and the bases loaded in that situation in the fifth inning. Only 12 times in 22 chances with a runner at third and less than 2 men out has he gotten the runner in. And that is hard to figure, Joe, with a guy that has been as good as Gonzo has been.
There's no explanation. There's no explaining it. It's just one of those things that happens. Boy, they're working him inside. They're trying to jam him to keep that ball in the infield.
was a 3-1 pitch he popped up last night. He's taking a look around, seeing where they're playing him defensively. 2-0 here. Runners on the corners. Little broken back flare, and this is going to get the job done. Spivey on his way to third. A 1-1 game. Attaboy, Gonzo.
He hit that ball right off his hands, but far enough to drive in the run.
Now batting, number 28, third baseman.
He broke his bat. See it, Sprinter? St. Clair going out to settle his pitcher down a little bit as Gonzo hit that ball just hard enough for the base hit. It brings up Trevino's great description. It landed as softly as a butterfly with sore feet.
That is a great description.
He can come up with them. And that's the way that ball landed. I mean, it just barely landed. Hardly bent the grass, but tied up the game.
So did that base hit in Game 7 of the World Series.
Whoa, you could have caught that with a tweezer, couldn't you?
Now you see Hillenbrand, 71% of the time he's gotten that runner in. And I would imagine Randy St. Clair, the Montreal pitching coach, said to Oka, hey, look, don't get down now. They've got 2 infield hits and a broken bad bleeder. And it's still a 1-1 game. 2-0.
You know what? I don't know what Oka said, but I've heard pitchers when coaches say that, and you're exactly right. They say, yeah, well, you go back to the bench and you watch it while I'm out here getting my brains beat out with them flares. Oh, you talk about guys getting upset, boy. That really gets them when you get those little bloops.
2-0 to Hillenbrand. That ball driven home in the right center field and bring in the run from third. Tagging, scoring, Spivey, Diamondbacks lead. 2-1.
That was good hitting by Hillenbrand because you could see he was going to drive that run in. And he got under. He was looking for the fly ball.
Hillenbrand playing in his 40th game for the Diamondbacks has 32 runs batted in. I mean, that's knocking on the door of Manny Ramirez territory.
Oh, yeah.
Ramirez basically averages about an RBI for every game he plays. Mondi with a liner to center. A base hit for Mondesi.
He's jumped on the first ball both times at bat.
Now batting, number 3,
low outside is where he wants it, and he about hits it right there. That's where the target was, right there. And look at him. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes, right there. Oh, I love that. Hitting the ball up the middle.
Mondi dialed in.
Mondi used to have a guy in the old neighborhood. You're making an Italian out of him.
That's right.
Keeps hitting, we'll adopt him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all it takes, 300 average.
Absolutely.
Love those 300 hitters.
Now Baerga. He had a liner into right field. Really the hardest hit ball the Diamondbacks have in the game tonight. Runners at first and second, 2 in, 2 out. 1-0 to Carlos Baerga. 2-0.
It's a Wee Willie Keeler game, Tom. Hit them where they ain't.
That's it.
He's looking down. Let me hit. Please let me hit. I'm not so sure he wouldn't give him the green light.
I think you're right. I think this is the one guy on this team, the 3-0, he's got enough confidence to let it rip. Takes a strike on the outside corner.
Okay, that ball's on the outside part of the plate. If he did have the green sign, he would have probably said, I want that fastball low. I want it inside. You not only pick a pitch, you pick a spot when it's 3-0. 3-1, you pick a pitch.
Wow, that one off his front foot.
Right off the right foot.
He barely shook it. All right, now the runners get started. You find a gap here and two may score. Mondesi runs very well at first.
Big lead, too. They're playing way back. Way off first.
Three and two to Carlos Baerga. The Diamondbacks, in the 2 games and 3 innings since getting back on the home front, have hit .360 with 2 men out in the inning. 9 of 25 with 8 RBIs. Line foul. Three and two on Baerga. Again, the runners will get started. Gonzalez at second base and Mondesi on at first. Ball 4, and they're loaded up. First walk of the game by Oka. And now a chance for Danny Bautista. This will be a big lift for Danny, Joe, if he can get a base hit right here.
Absolutely. As we look at Frank Robinson, Danny had an infield hit, but he'd like to drill one here. I'd say good hitters, and Baerga certainly is a good hitter. They know that strike zone, and when I say know the strike zone, they control the strike zone. Real good discipline. They've been jamming Danny Bautista inside and then going outside with the breaking ball. They've really been pitching him tough.
Well, Danny, that infield hit in the second inning Joe mentioned. And now looking for something to drive into the outfield and get some runs in. Diamondbacks have taken a lead with 2 here in the inning. And gets hit with a pitch. And that'll bring in a run. Boy, and Oka just in frustration. Just slams the ball down on that mound with his glove.
Catcher, Rod Barajas.
He tried to come inside. You can see the target. Nothing Danny could do but just turn his arm and take the pitch. That's about the time that you like to see the catcher go out and talk to the pitcher, because he's got to feel like the loneliest man in town right now.
Well, now they're loaded for Rod Barajas, a 9th man to bat in the inning. And he pops it up on the first pitch. The inning over, so the Diamondbacks play a little small ball. 4 hits in the inning, 2 of them infield hits, another a broken bat. But they scored 3 times to take a 2-run lead.
Number 43, right field.
Well, don't forget, tickets are available for each and every Diamondbacks game right here at Bank One Ballpark. And we told you, tickets available throughout the entire weekend against the New York Mets, and the Diamondbacks leave for a week. But then when they come back home, a 13-game homestand. And if you're wondering who's coming in, should be great baseball. It'll run from August the 19th through September the 1st, featuring visits from Cincinnati, the Cubs in for 3, San Diego for 3, and Joe, the Giants for 4. And there are guys in that Diamondback dugout that believe they're not out of this Western Division race quite yet.
They shouldn't believe anything but that. They're not out of it. There's still plenty of time.
Well, they have a 3-1 lead now for Miguel Batista. Vladimir Guerrero, first pitch swinging down a strike. Guerrero grounded into a double play that brought in a run in the first inning.
very aggressive in that batter's box, man.
Boy, was that ball stolen right center field and go to the wall. There is nothing cheap. There are no dinkers and doinkers and any of that kind of thing when that guy swings a bat.
I think he could hit a Rosenbach 360. I really do. Unbelievable. You know, they used to describe, like Manny Sanguin was a free swinger. Ralph Garr was a free swinger. And you always hear hitting coaches say, hit the ball where it's pitched. You can put Sanguin and Garr, obviously, and now Guerrero, who's the best hitter of the three that I'm talking about. He doesn't hit the ball where it's pitched. He hits it if it's pitched. I mean, his strike zone is as soon as the pitcher releases the ball, it's fair play. Let's go get it.
Joe, I know you've talked to Frank Robinson about this, but I mean, if Frank Robinson maintains his, there's a base hit to center field. They're going to wave around. No, they're going to hold Guerrero at third. Danny Bautista getting the ball back into the infield. Danny very lucky that Cabrera did not take off for second base. He missed the cutoff man. But Frank Robinson says that Guerrero's the best player he's ever seen.
I wouldn't argue with that at all, because he's got a great arm. He's got good speed. He's aggressive in the outfield. He's aggressive in the batter's box. And I know he looks good in the team picture. What's left?
Man.
When he becomes a free agent, look out, A-Rod. Just wonder how much money he'll command. Rodriguez got a bundle. This guy's going to get 2 bundles.
Well, you know, Joe, we were talking about it last night. I mean, Guerrero, you talk to everybody who has been around him. His mother lives with him in an apartment in Montreal during the season. They say all this guy does is come to the ballpark early, plays baseball, goes home every night. Home and the road. He just loves to play the game, and he's very quiet, doesn't care about interviews, doesn't care about endorsements. And that really, when all is said and done, that money is not a motivating factor for him at all.
He enjoys the game.
Yeah, and that he's not going to be looking to break the bank. And you're right, he could break it if he wanted to break it.
Oh, he's got a real chance.
0-2. Down and in. I made the comment last night. The Players Union, Guerrero is the kind of player they're going to be livid with at the end of the year when he signs his next contract, because he's not going to go for every dollar that he can get. No player on the open market could command more today than that guy right there.
Right. He's Bill Gates and spikes. That's what he is.
Runners on the corners and nobody out.
Needs
1 and 2.
Needs a strikeout, Tom.
And again, the Diamondbacks and Miguel Bautista will concede that run for a ground ball double play.
I'd like to see him get the strikeout, then the double play. That's the perfect scenario. He's a tough hitter.
1-2 to Wilkerson. Runner going. And a throw down to second. And they didn't get it. Boy, close call. Close play.
Rajas had something on that throw, I'll tell you that. I'm not so sure he didn't get him. Very close. Here's the end of the play. No, I think he was in there. Good call.
Well, now a pair of runners in scoring position. 2-2 to Wilkerson. And in the dirt again. Miguel trying to get Wilkerson to chase that splitter in the dirt. And he hasn't done it. Full count. Guerrero started the inning with a double into right center, went to third on a single by Cabrera, who has stolen second base. And now the 3-2 pitch. Got him swinging.
Big strikeout. Big strikeout.
Well, you look over the last 5 years and look at some of the numbers for the big three in the National League. Guerrero, Sosa, and Bonds. Guerrero more hits, a better batting average, the lowest number of home runs, and more RBIs than Barry Bonds. Of course, Guerrero gets to swing the bat more than Bonds.
Yeah.
and by a decade or more younger than both. 1-0 to Ron Callaway. Vladimir Guerrero just turned 27 before spring training began this year. Pulled foul. 1-1. And he's already been in the major leagues 6 years. He is 2 home runs shy. Actually 3, I beg your pardon, from tying Andre Dawson as the Montreal Expos all-time franchise home run leader.
Definitely a franchise player, no question about it.
1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
And what I like best about him, he chews gum. None of that smokeless tobacco, spit tobacco stuff. Look at it. So there you are, youngsters. You don't need that stuff. Gum. Has a pretty good splitter Miguel threw.
And there's another one.
Whoa.
Wow.
That thing, the bottom dropped out. Watch that thing just drop. It looks like a strike. And you could see the movement. Barajas had trouble catching that ball. In fact, he beat it down. That ball really had some movement.
Well, now 1 big out to go for Miguel Batista after runners were standing at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out in the inning. And here's Guzman inside in a low ball 1. Guzman popped up to Danny Bautista in the 2nd inning.
Be careful with this one. He's got a spot for him. I mean, you don't want to walk him intentionally, but you don't want to give in to him.
Rip foul off the facing of the Montreal dugout.
There was nothing you could do with that except hit it foul. That was way inside.
Two and 1 to Guzman, and a pitch fouled out of play. And now Miguel Batista, boy, the crowd ought to really get behind him here. He is a strike away and out away from runners at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out in the inning, and getting out of this thing unscathed.
He had a great splitter that he threw to get the strikeout on Callaway and Wilkerson. But imagine that Mr. Guzman will be getting that pitch.
The 2-2 on the way. We'll do it again. Guerrero at 3rd. Cabrera, the runner at 2nd. 2 away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he did throw him that splitter, and Barajas able to keep it in front of him. And the count is full.
Glad that Barajas didn't try to catch that ball. He did what you're supposed to do. He's like a Zamboni back there. Let it hit off your chest because that protector will deaden it. Sometimes when you try to catch it, it'll go off your glove. Watch it. He just let it go off his chest. Perfect. Absolute dead perfect. He dropped that glove to close the wicket.
3-2 pitch. Pull to the right side. Boy, this is big league pitching here by Miguel Batista. Man, you wonder why that guy's got the 5th best ERA in the National League. Just watch that inning again.
You remember our question about what can Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling teach a young pitcher like Brandon Webb, as we see the 3 of them, and I talked about focus. Webb really could learn a valuable lesson from Batista in that inning, because you talk about he had industrial strength focus, because the way you measure a good pitcher is what do you do with the man on 3rd and less than 2 outs. And he had it there with nobody out, and he worked 1 man at a time, 1 pitch at a time, and got out of it. Tremendous job.
makes a great defensive play, leads off the next inning.
Oh, they're going to give him the ball in the bag, I think. And a by Miguel. That ball was right where he was swinging. All right.
Matt Kata.
Man, I'm telling you. What's that? Oh, cocked his leg and everything. Oh, I hope we got this on tape. He makes a short turn and says, oh, man, I got a two-base hit. Go, Miguel. All right. I'll tell you what, the way that last inning and get that hit, he'd be dressed in a telephone booth.
How about that?
How about our Miguel Batista, huh?
His 4th career double. And his first of this year.
They appealed it. I can't believe that. He slowed down to tag first base. He even had a laugh himself. Had a boy, Miguel. When he tried to take a double away from you, I'd witness for him.
Now Kata shortening up the bunt. Ball 1 to Matt Kata, who was popped up to left, bounced into a fielder's choice, and scored a run. Bunted foul.
You know, he's going to try to make the third baseman feel the ball, obviously, if he bunts it so that he draws him in and it's easy for Batista to go over there. But I'll tell you, as far back as that Wilkerson playing, if he would bunt it in this area right here, he might get a base hit, but that's not the play. The play is to make the third baseman feel it.
Well, Miguel wears that bodysuit underneath his uniform. It doesn't matter how hot it may be, and it's even warm inside the ballpark where the temperature is still in triple digits outside. But he is in tip-top condition.
Oh, yeah. Why would he wear a bodysuit?
I don't know. He likes it, though.
End up looking like J-Lo.
No, he ain't looking like J.
Ah!
No,
I gotta see if you were paying attention.
Oh, yeah. Now, Miguel's a good-looking guy, and he's in great shape and all that kind of thing, but J-Lo, he ain't.
A little attempted humor, Tom.
Yeah, but now you got me drifting. No, Joe, wait a minute. Don't sign the sweet spot of that ball, please. All right?
All right.
I mean, you know, people come up here and they want your autograph, Hall of Famer. They want you on the main spot on that ball. 2-2 on Matt Kata.
This is the sweet spot. This is what he's talking about. And this is where the stars sign.
Right, and that's why when they had me sign that ball for, now look underneath there, because I know who's still going to sign the ball.
But as a player, if I ever signed there, in fact, I did that once again, even with the clubhouse guy in Pittsburgh, and he came chasing me when I went to the Cubs and you just ruined a dozen balls.
2-2 to Matt Kata, runner at second base. And Manson runner at third. Good work by Kata. 1 away. Well, Joe, with those Pirate teams, who Kiner was a guy they wanted on a sweet spot.
They always wanted Kiner. In St. Louis, it was Musial.
Right.
The Cubs, it was Banks. And if I ever signed it there, forget it. That's the sweet spot.
Well, look at that handwriting. I mean, you know, a lot of guys, they write and you can't read. That you can read.
That's parochial school, 7th grade. Sister Mary Charles Bronson.
That ruler whack you on the hand.
No.
Erasers throwing at you.
4x8. No, she was a good teacher. No, but you had a penmanship or something, man. Close your O's, close your A's, dot your I's, and cross your T's.
Strike one to Junior Spivey, runner at third base, infield in from Montreal. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Diamondbacks with a 2-run lead. You see the numbers on Junior getting a runner in. 67%. And if you're wondering, I mean, you look up and down the Diamondbacks roster, and they've got guys on his team like Hillenbrand and Finley and Centrone, among others, that are in the 70 percentile. Saw Gonzalez at only 55%, Junior at 67. In fewer chances, guys like Barajas and Bayergan, each 8 of 9. 2-2 to Junior.
Here's where Junior's got to step out, regroup, and talk to himself and say, I got to put this ball in play. I can't worry about anything else but putting the ball in play so I can try to score that run. Really got to stay with it. You're not looking for a home run. You're looking for the bat to meet the ball.
Three and 2. Two away in the inning.
It's a breaking ball, the outside part of the plate. His head was looking the other way. Ball was past.
Well, now they're going to intentionally walk Gonzalez to get to Hillenbrand.
Well, he's playing percentages, obviously, but I'll tell you something, the way Hillenbrand has been driving in runs.
I said it the other night, Joe, and I still believe it very, very much, and it's not to put too much pressure on a guy, but I mean, hey, this is a big leagues. It's all about pressure and how you handle it and what you do. For my money, there are a handful of guys on this team offensively you're going to be able to count on when all is said and done. Spivey is a guy that has got to get back to being the player he was last year for them to be able to count on him again if they're going to get into the playoffs and win in the playoffs. He's better than he's playing right now.
And he knows it, and you know it, and I know it, and he knows it. Brendan, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because he comes up in key spots.
All right, they pitch around Gonzalez to get to Hillenbrand and shade down a strike. Look at those numbers. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. That's why Hillenbrand has knocked in a pile of runs in Boston and Arizona and all points in between.
He's going to have to go to right field. Going to stay away from him.
He didn't go around. 1-1.
You can see why this Oka is a good pitcher. He moves that ball around. He uses all of that strike zone. And when he needs to make that pitch, he's been able to make it. True, Diamondbacks leading by 2, but you can't say that they've blasted him. All 3 pitches to the outside part of the plate. Oh, because the catcher, they have a chance now to either set up for the 2-2 pitch by jamming him or continue to stay outside.
Looks like they're going to stay away.
Breaking ball, slider outside.
All right, Joe, if you're Hillenbrand now, you're in the box, you're paying attention to what's going on. You brought up the scenario they could run one in on you, or are they staying down and away? Right now, would you cheat and just guess out there?
No.
No?
You don't? I've heard too many good hitters say when you got 2 strikes, you just look for one thing, that's the ball. Here he comes inside.
And he fisted into right field and not get a run.
Because he had his mind made up to go that way. You can say it was a cheap hit, it was a blue hit, but that was good hitting because he was going to go that way knowing they were pitching him outside. That's a good piece of hitting. I don't care if it's not a blue darter. He was going that way all the way, and that's why he's a good hitter. He uses the whole field.
But, Joe, that's a great point you bring up for the fan out there that's trying to learn more about the game of baseball. You know, anybody who has followed the game for a long time, and you know Frank Robinson down in that dugout is saying, that is good hitting.
Absolutely.
He didn't knock the cover off the ball. It's just good hitting.
Well, just like Bayerga last night, going up to saying he's going to hit to the opposite field.
Well, now Mondesi. First pitch swinging for the third straight at bat.
I'm telling you, when you got 2 strikes on, you got your mind made up to a hit to a field, and the ball's inside, you go inside out, which Hillenbrand did, Bayarga did last night. But if you're up there guessing, saying, well, they're going inside, outside, I'm looking for a pitcher, that's like a dog chasing a car on the highway, man. You're going to get creamed.
0-1 on Mondesi, 1 of 2 in the game. Single to center his last time up. And a rider by the second baseman, Pedro is there. And that'll end the inning. 1 run, a couple of hits. Diamondbacks lead 4-1 at the end of 4. Well, all fans on deck for the Diamondbacks cruise December 6th through the 14th. You can spend a week in the Caribbean on the Celebrity Cruise Line with the likes of Brandon Webb, Matt Caden, Junior Spivey, and other Diamondbacks players, coaches, broadcasters. Call 602-462-6736 or email cruise@ArizonaDiamondbacks.com. The governor will be there, and his wife Nancy will be on board. And now, Joe, of anything going on, I am convinced that is a trip that you and your wife ought to be on. I'm just springing this on you. I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but I mean, when you sit up here and, you know, try to raise money for the Diamondbacks charities and MDA and all the things going on, you sit down there and hang out with the fans in the stands.
You listening to him, honey?
You're the guy that ought to be on that trip. That one ripped down the right field line. It'll go to the wall. So an extra base hit to begin the inning by Schneider. I mean, can you imagine the number of people that are going to call to get on that cruise if they know for about a week they can just talk baseball with you? I'm telling you.
How much they going to give me to talk baseball with all those
I
folks?
don't know. You worked that out. I'm just saying you got to be on board.
I got to be on board. But let's make sure that Batista gets this guy out, because they may be going to the pinch hitter.
All right, so, Joe, if he gets out of this inning without giving up a run, are you saying you're open-minded to go along on that cruise?
If I go, will you go?
If you go, I'll go.
Yeah, will you go? The accordion player. Miguel in the jam.
Well, the night is over for Tomo Oka.
He had one of those nights where he must have felt like he was sleeping with a flock of mosquitoes. I mean, nobody really bit him hard, but they kept nipping and nipping. He took 2 steps and down he went. Nobody really nailed him, but it took a lot of bites out of him.
Joe Vitiello batting for Oka and fouls it away. Vitiello got the start against Randy Johnson in the series opener. He went 1 for 2, knocked in a run, also drew a walk and scored. T.J. Tucker getting loose in the bullpen. Diamondbacks 4-1 lead. We're in the 5th inning. Runner at second and nobody out. 1-1. Miguel wanted the call, didn't get it. 2 balls and a strike.
Man, I don't blame him, Tom.
Schneider out there at second base with nobody out. 2-1 to Vitiello. Chopped that one foul to even the count. Top of the order next in Andy Chavez. Vitiello in very limited playing time since they brought him up. He's done a good job. Been in scoring position, a .429 batter, and has really hit left-handed pitching especially well. And a 2-2 on the way. Laid off that splitter. Full count.
Man, he laid off a tough pitch. That ball is so deceptive because it looks like a strike until the last minute, and then it's doomed. Down it goes.
Little dribbler. Miguel will get to this one and throws in time, falling on his backside as he turned it loose. Schneider to third.
He really had something on that throw to first base. He knew it was going to be close. In fact, he pushed so hard to throw it that he fell backwards. He knows it's going to be a tough play, barehanded, and I mean, he threw it hard. Got off that mound in good shape. Down he goes.
Runner at third, one away, and now Andy Chavez, the batter. Well, that one ran in on him. He checked his swing and didn't go around.
He'd look like he'd be a tough guy to strike out because he doesn't take that big swing. It's a short swing. Infield is back. If he gets a ground ball, they're going to run.
Well, he's knocked in a run in 6 of his last 7 games. They say they like him to be the same kind of hitter leading off that he is when runners get on base. For whatever reason, he's been a much, much, much better hitter with runners on and in scoring position.
Focus.
This will get the run in. Maybe. Mondesi set to turn it loose, and the run will score. And that makes it a 4-2 ball game.
Mondesi got himself in pretty good position, but he was just too deep. You saw him. He backed up on the ball and came running. Watch here. He's coming in. Now he gets a good jump on that ball and throws it as hard as he can, but he was too deep.
Four-2 ball game. 2 down, nobody on, and now Vidro. Ball 1 high and away. Miguel was allowed 2 runs on 6 base hits. 2-0 to Vidro. He has struck out 3 and not walked a batter in the game tonight.
I want this guy to earn his way on with that Guerrero up next.
Tardy on a 2-0 fastball. You know, it's always interesting when Baseball America comes out with that publication, and they have it out right now, where they ask managers and players and coaches around each league to vote on all kinds of different things. Best power hitter in the league, best hitter in the league, best outfield arm in the league, best manager in the league. I was very surprised in reading today that Vidro was voted as the best defensive second baseman in the league. Now, we have not seen him move all that well in this series because of his injured knee, but and when you look at some of the other guys playing second base around this league, for Vidro to be voted by his peers as #1 is saying something. 1 run in the inning, 1 hit, and nobody left. Middle of the 5th, 4-2 D-backs.
Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. Peter Piper Pizza. Good food, good fun. No wonder everyone's happy. And by Miller Lite. Tell it over a great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
The Diamondbacks in front as they come to bat here in the home half of the 5th inning. The night is over for Tomo Oka. And our Nextel direct connect to the bullpen brings on the right-hander, T.J. Tucker. Bayer going to lead it off, and he looks at ball 1 low and away. Tucker been pretty solid the last couple of years for Montreal, although he has struggled a bit this year, as those numbers might indicate. Cabrera behind the bat. One away. Joe, now what happens back in your day if a guy shows up with that dude that Cabrera scored?
I don't know. I really don't know. If they had a kangaroo court, he'd have to defend himself. I know that. But if he can play like Cabrera, you wear your hair any way you want.
Right.
If he's a 210 hitter, though, and making a lot of errors, they'd tell him about it.
Danny Bautista takes down and away. Danny, an infield hit in the second. Was hit by a pitch to drive in a run with the bases loaded in the third. Chavez coming in to get it quickly, 2 away. Well, we told you the Phillies lost earlier today. The Giants won their game earlier today. The Marlins lost their game. So the Diamondbacks have a chance, if they can win this one, to gain ground on the 2 teams in front of them, the only 2 teams in front of them, in the National League wildcard race. And there you have it. They get pulled within 3. The Marlins stay 1 back. Boy, it is going to be a fun final 2 months of this season. Heck, we're under 2 months now. The season ends in September this year rather than drifting into the first couple of days of October. So we're about 7.5 weeks out.
That's when baseball gets to be fun, and it gets a little tough to breathe between those lines.
Frank Robinson has really done a great job with this Montreal team. I mean, all they have been through this year with playing so many quote-unquote home games in Puerto Rico. Of course, more home games in Montreal. There's strike 3 to Barajas, and that'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Diamondbacks for the first time since the opening inning. We go to the 6th, 4-2 Arizona. Shamrock Farms presents a farm report. For news about the teams and players in the Diamondbacks minor league system, we go to the South Bend, Indiana, where Jared Doyle, a 10-game winner, an ERA of under 3. The Diamondbacks' 3rd-round pick out of James Madison University in Virginia last year. And he was solid in Yakima last season. South Bend in first place in the second half of the Midwest League season. By the way, send in 10 1-gallon milk labels to Shamrock Farms. And you'll receive a table for 4 in the Shamrock Farms Picnic Pavilion in Bank One Ballpark September 10th. Visit shamrockfarms.net for details. Miguel Batista in the 6th inning with a 4-2 lead. And another ball scalded off the bat of Vladimir Guerrero, his second hit.
What can you say about him that we haven't said before? Is he ready? Look at that follow through. He sees that ball, head right on it, and I mean goes everything he's got behind that swing.
Now Cabrera in the air down the left field line. You get a cheapie down there. Gonzalez at the wall. Tie game. Off the foul pole.
High fastball. He knew it. It's a bad pitch. He didn't get away with it. And that's why you can wear any do you want when you hit like that. Hit the foul pole or the fair pole. You could hear it.
So we begin anew here in the 6th inning.
Up in his eyes. Listen to it hit the foul pole.
Dominigoni, our head audio man, on top of the action down that left field line. Clearly able to hear it. 1-1 to Brad Wilkerson.
Well, I say he had one other pitch that got up high.
Foul ground, and that ball out of play. Orlando Cabrera having just an outstanding year. And he has set an all-time Expos franchise record for home runs in a season by a shortstop. Interestingly enough, Will Cordero, when he first came to the major leagues, was a shortstop with Montreal and hit 15 home runs in '94. You know, we've gotten so spoiled watching the Diamondback pitchers go game after game after game. 3 runs, 2 runs, or less than that more times than not. And there are going to be games like Randy the other night, Miguel here tonight, where that's just not going to happen. So you're going to have to go out and score some runs to get them wins. They did for Randy the other night, didn't do it for Schilling last night. Beat Wilkerson to the bag, 1 away. And boy, have we been spoiled by this pitcher.
Well, a lot of games, Tom, you need that eraser, and that's the offense. I mean, when you get Miguel, even 4 runs here in the 6th inning, I mean, not bad pitching. I remember 2 fastballs that he's throwing. The one that Cabrera just hitting the other one, where I talked about if he stays up there, he's in trouble up there. And that ball was right up in his eyes, and it really wasn't that good fastball. That's where he's got to pitch, in and out, down. He knows it, everybody knows it, but hey, execution, man, it's tough sometimes.
0-1 to Callaway, who's 0 for 2. Down and in again, a ball and a strike. It's really a down year, as that graphic would tell you, for position players among National League rookies this season, especially the big hitters. Choi has been injured a lot this year. But boy, the young pitchers in this National League, guys like Webb, Dontrell Willis, Jerome Williams of the Giants, just to name 3. And there are others. 2-1 to Callaway. 3-1. Fail and often overlook Oscar Villarreal and the job he's done as a rookie pitcher this year. Behind the bag, King throws out Callaway, 2 away.
Boy, he really jammed him with that one. You could see that thing kind of snake like it was slicing. Kid arranged far to his left. Nice play. Sets himself well. Knew the runner and had plenty of time.
Edwards Guzman with 2 in, 2 down, and nobody on. Swing and a miss. Line to the left field. Gonzo's there, and that'll do it. A leadoff single by Guerrero, a home run by Cabrera has tied things up after 5.5. 4 apiece.
Boy, you can see Miguel Batista still thinking about that pitch. Chuck Niffen going over to talk to him about it. Just wanted to get away with one and just couldn't do it. Boy, he's mad. The competitive fire is really burning.
And apparently his night is over. Miguel leading off the bottom of the 6th inning, and Alex Cintron is going to bat for him. So see if the Diamondbacks can score some runs here and get this guy a win. I mean, he deserves it the way he's been going this entire year. And it's our Bank One home run jackpot inning. And you can enter by sending a postcard with your name, address, phone number to Home Run Jackpot, P.O. Box 2095, Phoenix, AZ. 85001. Look at the money we're playing for now. $3,750 for Nathan Garrett of Tempe.
Nathan can go on that cruise.
Better believe it. Alex looks at a strike. A rare night where Cintron is not in the starting lineup. Fouled out of play. He had a single in the 8th inning last night. His only hit in 4 at-bats, wound up scoring the game-winning run on the pinch hit single from Carlos Baerga. Tucker out there on a relief of Oka, who now is off the hook after giving up 4 runs in 4 innings. Cintron, Cada, and then Spivey against Tucker here in the Diamondbacks 6th. We'll do it again at 1-2.
Fouled off a tough pitch. I tell you, he's giving them a pretty good battle coming off that bench.
Just off the outside edge, 2-2. Big ball game here tonight for the Diamondbacks, trying to make up ground on the 2 teams in front of them in the wild card race. Both the Phillies and Marlins have lost. And Alex pops it up in the short left. 1 away. On a fielder's choice and scored a run in the 3rd inning. Diamondbacks with 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. And had a 4-1 lead, but the Expos began to peck away in the 5th inning. Tap to the right side. He draws in. 2 away. Junior 1 of 3 and an infield hit and scored in that 3-run 3rd. Strike 1. Boy, every game it seems like the Diamondbacks have played here of late has been a 1-run game. Last night, the Diamondbacks' 41st 1-run game of the year. They're 4th in their last 5, and over a longer haul, 10 of their last 12 decided by 1 run. They've been great in 1-run games at home. Not good at all on the road. 2-2 to Spivey.
Every breaking ball has really been on that outside corner. So look at Hillenbrand. But that fastball, he's been coming inside with it.
Came in there again, and Junior fouled it off. Gonzo hoping for a chance here in the 6th inning. For that to happen, Spivey's got to reach. Count of 2-2, and Tucker going to work. Breaking ball that hung up there. Full count.
Well, he didn't want that one to be where he threw it, I'll tell you. In fact, he shook his catcher off. Just stared him down until he got the curveball. His catcher wanted a fastball inside.
Going a fastball away here. And that is a fair ball and checked up. What a play there by Schneider. The ball checked up on him with all that spin. He hung with it and then threw him out from his knee. Look at that.
Yeah.
You've been down that road, Joe.
Oh, yeah. That'll fool you, man. Like a cue ball.
Top of the 7th inning, a 4-4 contest. The Diamondbacks and the Expos. Miguel Batista swinging at bat tonight, Joe.
Oh, yes. That was his first hit. And there's that big one. Two-base hit. That ball was right where he was swinging it. He hit it right in the gap, split the outfielders.
Well, a number of changes for the Diamondbacks here. They bring on Alex Cintron to remain in the game and play short. They'll push Cada to the other side of the second base bag. Spivey out of the game. And lo and behold, a Steven Randolph sighting on the mound. He has not pitched since retiring a pair of Florida Marlins last Wednesday. His game before that was that 15-inning triumph against the Dodgers on July the 25th when he got the win. Remember, he did not pitch at all in that 14-inning game in Chicago. Well, here's another guy who got a lot of work early in the year, and he has really had a good, solid rookie season. Randolph, 5-0 record. And now put into a big ball game, 4-4 as we open a 7th. Brian Schneider, a pinch hitter. And then the top of the order, Andy Chavez. To Schneider. Schneider 1 of 2 in the game, doubled and scored in the 5th inning. Schneider catching every day right now.
Doing a good job too, Tom.
That was really a nice play he made on Spivey there to end that bottom of the 6th inning. In the air, right field hit pretty well. Mondesi with room. 1 away.
The play you're talking about, many times when that thing spins back like that, it's almost like panic sets in. You want to grab that ball, and it's like a snake. It just keeps going away from you because he hit it right on the end of the bat, much like when you miscue playing billiards.
Well, now it'll be Mateo. He is batting for Tucker, who goes 2 perfect innings in relief of Thom. This guy has been one of the better pinch hitters in the National League this season, one of only 6 players in all of baseball to have 10 or more pinch hits. Low and away.
Ten for 37.
Fouled back out of play, and a count 2-2 on Henry Mateo. Well, Joey Eishen, a left-hander, and Hector Almonte, the right-hander, throwing. It has been a roughed-up bullpen of late for Frank Robinson's team. Their bullpen has allowed at least one run in 17 of the last 19 games, including 10 in a row. And those were games where the starters did not go a complete game, obviously. But their bullpen ERA since the middle of June is over 6.
Tough. That is tough.
2-2 to Mateo. We'll do it again.
I'll tell you, that first night watching this game, Tom, with all the pitchers that he ran out there and the players, it looked like he was on the 45-man roster. I mean, he kept running guys out and wondering where he was getting them.
Two pitch. Pulled the string on him and popped up behind the plate. And it's in amongst the fans. That Almonte was the guy that was chewing on that bobsod the other night out there on the mound. Had that piece of grass in his mouth. He might be working that thing already tonight. He is. Look at it. Two. Fisted again, out of play.
I've seen guys take Kleenex and stuff it in to make it look like they're chewing tobacco and they chew paper.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Paper?
Put Kleenex.
Oh, okay.
And there was a kid when I was doing my tobacco visits to the clubhouses, and the Cub camp was chewing dirt. I mean, he just put dirt in his mouth. I couldn't believe it.
What?
Even 2 aspirin in the morning wouldn't help him.
How about that vendor right there? That vendor carrying around that heavy load, very casually reached back, picked off that ball coming in the seats and gave it to a little boy. Well, now you talk about some folks that work hard here at the ballpark. Those vendors carrying around all the goods to the folks in the stands. They work hard, really hard. Walking up those steps all night long.
Selling everything. Boy, working the upper deck, you can get even with the guy.
Yep. Good and bad here by Mateo. Really making Randolph work. It remains 3-2.
I tell you, so far it's been the Mateo hour.
Ball foul.
I'm just kind of guessing, but I think Schneider hit the 3rd pitch. And there's, what, 18 pitches?
This will be the 12th pitch of this at-bat coming up.
It's getting your money's worth, man. That's really shopping.
3-2 again. Line into left field, and Randolph will win the battle. That's good work on both sides, pitcher and batter. Randolph kept throwing strikes. Mateo kept fouling them all.
And had some good swings at him. I mean, there was very few of those defensive swings. Randolph happy to get that. Even he had to grin, saying, man, I'm glad to get rid of that guy.
There are so many teams around baseball that are just keeping a very close eye on what the Diamondbacks do with Randolph. I mean, he led the PCL in wins last year as a starter. Clearly, he'd like to be a starter again, but right now that's just not his role on this team. But, Joe, they can't send him down or they lose him. And that's why I say there are teams all over baseball that are keeping an eye on him every day.
Oh, yeah, they're all circling the body.
Yeah.
Oh, just circling. As soon as something happens, here they come.
I mean, there are a lot of teams around baseball that would love, not like, love to have Randolph in their starting rotation right now.
Well, look at the Cardinals with the problems they're having with their pitching. You think this guy wouldn't fit in?
Right now.
Absolutely.
One to Chavez. Taken outside, 2 balls and a strike. Trying to finish off Chavez and make it a 1-2-3-7. 4-4 game. Routed down to third. Good play by Hillenbrand. Those are the things he's been working on. Sometimes back up a half step and play that ball and get the better bounce. It paid off for him there.
Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by Pepsi, the choice of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Fry's and Fry's Marketplace. Come in and catch the savings. And by Bank One, official bank of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Member FDIC.
Bottom half of the 7th inning we go. A 4-4 ball game. I beg your pardon. Diamondbacks will set up the heart of the order. It'll be Luis Gonzalez, Shea Hillenbrand, and then Raul Mondesi as D-backs to the Bobcat. Trying to get the crowd and our center field or our high home cameraman, Ralphie Boy Kelso, fired up for the bottom of the 7th. Ralphie, are you ready?
Thank you, Tommy, for noticing me.
Absolutely, Pally. Joey Eischen on to face Luis Gonzalez. And we'll see what Frank Robinson does with his bullpen after that. This guy's turned into a pretty solid pitcher.
Yes, he has. He's got quite a ritual there, that bowing down. There he goes. Up comes the body, and here comes the pitch.
He's falling behind 2-0.
I was sitting with my grandson last night. He says, Papa, why does he bow down like that? I said, I don't know why he bows down like that. Kids just watch everything.
Well, he's pitched 2 innings in this series, allowed 1 hit and no runs. Well, I mentioned it last night. The only other guy I can think of, and I'm sure there are others. We don't see all the American League teams play, but the only other guy that does this, and it's almost a carbon copy from the right side, is Mike Mussina.
Right.
Does the exact same thing, all the way down and all the way back up.
Stayed inside. Both pitches got strikes.
Gonzo, 1 of 2 in the game. A run-scoring single, scored himself in that 3-run third. Was intentionally walked in the 4th. Feeds Eischen at the bag, 1 away. Well, now what does Frank Robinson do? You have right-handed batters in Hillenbrand and Mondesi coming up, and Frank coming out to get Eischen, who retires the only man that he will face. So Hector Almonte, the grass chewing man, coming on in the 7th. 4-4 game, last of the 7th inning. 1 out, nobody on. Shea Hillenbrand coming up. And now the 4th pitcher used by Frank Robinson. Our Nextel direct connect to the bullpen brings on Hector Almonte. Almonte struggled here the other night. Diamondbacks hoping for more of the same in Game 3 of this series. He allowed a hit and a walk and 2 runs. Did not retire a batter. He's fallen behind Hillenbrand 2-0.
You see that grass in there, Tom? It looks like a toothpick. And then he flipped it inside. And all I can say about that is better he eats it than smoke it.
3-0 on Hillenbrand.
Man. Put that on your resume. Hobby, chewing grass. Me and Elsie the cow.
Our buddy over here who provides the West Coast turf for bobsod, Lee Allison. He said it's got to be a spokesman. Ball 4. Well, look at Frank.
That base on balls will put gray hair in there, man. No defense against the base on balls. And that's what St. Clair is telling them.
You know, while we have a moment, Joe, I got a wonderful piece of mail. The family of a young man named Seth Coinston, 17 years old, lives in Scottsdale, got into a horrible traffic accident on the 4th of July. He has been in a coma until the last week and just came out of the coma. And they said that he is a huge Diamondback fan. His doctors say his strong heart and will to stay alive has kept him alive, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Still in the hospital after a month and a half and just came out of that coma. So Seth, we're thinking about you, praying for you. Get well.
Yeah, get well and come out and see us.
Absolutely.
Come up to the booth and watch us work.
Now Raul Mondesi with a runner at first and 1 away. And a bullet.
Hey, Tom, you're talking about Seth. Reminded me of our good friend Gene Thompson, who's always sitting on a scout. I talked to him yesterday.
How's he doing?
He said, I'm getting stronger. I'm going to be there pretty soon. He said, Gino, everybody's asking about you. So we wish him well and get him out here soon.
Absolutely. Check swing bouncer. This could be a hit. Throw, and just in time to get Mondesi, but the go-ahead run gets to second base, 2 away in the inning, and now the Diamondbacks are going to lean hard on Carlos Baerga. And I got to believe they're talking about whether they even want to pitch to this guy.
Well, they're not going to give in to him, that's for sure. He'll have to hit Almonte's pitch, but getting back to Mondesi, he tried to plug that hole between first and second. He was going to go that way to try to first and third it. He just got that ball too far inside and couldn't really drive it. But Baerga, they know they're not going to even fool with him. They're going to put him on. You knew that they were not going to give in to him. There's a lot of respect.
Well, Bob Brenly pinch hit for Danny Bautista in a similar situation last night, although it was Baerga that he used as a pinch hitter for Bautista. Got to wonder whether Finley is available. Steve said last night he was unavailable. And he was still pretty sore today. He did take batting practice before the game. And Bob going to give Danny Bautista a chance.
This is one of those situations where managers say maybe, just maybe, I'll get the lead and make a player. Because he's putting him up in a tough spot. Danny knows it, and Brenly is showing confidence in him. And it's up to him. Lip service time is over. Let's get the job done.
Two on, 2 out. Low ball 1 to Danny Bautista.
Might have got crossed up on that one. He caught that ball awkwardly.
Yep.
Boy, you go out there, you tell the pitcher, listen, man on second base, if you can't read the signs, we just go right back and we'll put down 1, 2, and 3, okay?
Look at them, man. They're laughing at each other.
Sure. Oh, yeah, he was lucky to stop that. But with that one-hand catching, that's all right. In my day, you used 2 hands, and that's when you order 4 beers with the index finger and the little finger.
1-0 on Danny Bautista. Go ahead run at second here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Fastball just under the knees, 2-0.
Now here's what Danny's got to look for, that pitch, and if he gets his pitch, really give it a good cut. Here's where you can really guess.
Two 2-0 to Danny Bautista. Jam with a fastball in on his hands and dumps it foul.
93 miles an hour. Ball's getting in on him. It's getting up to him.
Two and 1 to Danny Bautista. Go ahead run at second base. And Danny waiting on Almonte, a check of the runners. 3 hopper to second, inning over. Ah, yes. All fans on deck for the Diamondbacks cruise December 6th through the 14th. You can spend a week in the Caribbean on a celebrity cruise line.
Exciting and new.
Brandon Webb will be there. Matt Cata, Junior Spivey. Other Diamondbacks players, coaches, and the governor.
Mr. Villarreal here on for the Diamondbacks as we go to the 8th. Michigan works just about every
The skipper.
Let it flow.
Captain Popeye.
It floats back to you.
All right, here we go in the 8th inning. A 4-4 ball game. Steven Randolph worked a perfect inning in the 7th. And now the 21-year-old who hails from Mexico having a brilliant rookie season. Our Nextel direct connect to the bullpen brings on Oscar Villarreal. Found out a play, of course, Villarreal last night. 2 nights ago, I beg your pardon. Established a team record, making his 60th appearance of the year. Troy Brohan pitched in 59 games in 2001 for appearances by a rookie.
It's amazing. You can add him to that long list of a Diamondback game without Villarreal is like a day without sunshine.
That's right.
I mean, every game it seems like.
1-2 to Vidro. Struck him out. Wow, that pitch right there is unhittable. Unhittable.
Nothing you can do but do what he did. I mean, it's low inside, breaking down. Look at that. He missed it 1.5 feet. Tough pitch.
Boy, and is he cool out there for a 21-year-old kid?
Oh, amazing. Don't get too cool now with this guy walking in. You got a cyclone in that batter's box now.
Guerrero 2 out of 3 has doubled, singled, scored a run. Fastball paints the outside corner and knee high.
And that's what he's got to do.
Slider stayed out over the plate a little bit, but Guerrero fouled it away. 0-2.
Every action in the batter's box by Guerrero simply says, I can hit. Very confident, very aggressive. Bounce one up there, Oscar. Feet off his greed.
0-2 on Guerrero. There it was, down and away. Now that is pitching right there.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
That was perfect for feeding off Greed. He was going to swing at it, and he can't even reach it. He just wanted to foul that one off. Villarreal in a battle with Guerrero, and he won it easily.
Now Cabrera. Well, you can't take a deep breath after those last two guys and forget about this guy.
Oh, no.
Cabrera hit the game-tying 2-run home run off the fair pole against Miguel Batista in the 6th inning. And that's where we stand here in the 8th. 4-4 our score. Popped up. Man, this kid Villarreal. I know he gave up that home run to Sosa the other day, Joe, but what a great rookie year he has had.
No question about it.
What a year.
Sosa's going to hit home runs off everybody, including King Kong. Come on.
Tickets are available for each and every Diamondback game this summer at Bank One Ballpark. Don't forget, every Wednesday and Thursday, McFamily nights, you get a $6 game ticket plus $5 in McDonald's gift certificates for just $9 with a coupon from McDonald's or in your Arizona Republic each game day. Some great fans out here tonight, Joe.
Yes, sir. Say, they've had good attendance. Diamondback fans are good fans.
Captain D-back.
He works hard.
Where's our boy Mikey tonight? I mean, he's normally the guy that is leading the rally here late in the game. All right. Bottom of the 8th inning, Quentin McCracken on the pinch hit for Rod Barajas, and the Nextel direct connect to the bullpen brings on the Expos closer Rocky Biddle. 27 saves. Grounded right at Vidro. There he is, Joe. Now the 499 sign you see that Mikey made, that's the number of wins in Arizona Diamondbacks franchise history. They are trying to get their 500th win tonight. Popped up. 2 away. It would be the fastest expansion team reaching the 500 win mark in the history of baseball. Not the fastest franchise ever. Fastest expansion franchise. Well, you're talking about teams that all time got there the quickest. The Diamondbacks would be the 6th fastest major league team in history, behind the Pirates, the Cubs, the White Sox, the New York/San Francisco Giants, and the Philadelphia/Kansas City/Oakland A's. Cada pops it up. Boy, that was quick. Diamondback hitters not exercising any patience against Biddle in that inning.
No, they look like their computer was left on. They want to go shut it off.
4-4 ball game. Get a look at the Rincon clan. Alex and Tino reading their way to the ballpark, and Mom bringing them along here tonight. The family of our cameraman Jimmy, and congratulations those young men. Very bright young fellas. Take a look at the pitching matchups for the weekend. The Mets are coming to town. Tom Glavine, Brandon Webb tomorrow night. That's a good matchup. Glavine not having a good year, but I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. Jay So against Elmer Descends. And then a real good matchup on Sunday.
Sunday matchup's going to be a beauty.
Our Nextel direct connect to the bullpen. 4th pitcher used by Bob Brenly. It's left-hander Eddie Oropesa. He got the win here last night. Chad Moeller takes over behind the plate for Rod Barajas.
Appears that Eddie Oropesa may have his own separate set of signs and was just passing them on to his catcher Moeller. Be nothing complicated.
It's a big ball game here for the Diamondbacks. Heck, they're all big now. I mean, you're down to the last 7.5 weeks of the season. And you're 4 games from getting in the playoffs. They're all big. But the Phillies lost earlier today. So too to the Marlins, the 2 teams right in front of the Diamondbacks in the wild card race. And the Diamondbacks with a win could pull to within 3 of the Phillies. 1-1 on Brad Wilkerson.
Boy, you try not to look at that scoreboard, but you can't help it.
No, you can't help it at this time of year. You can't help it. I mean, you missed a golden chance on Sunday.
Yep.
You don't get a lot of these days. It did happen Sunday where the Marlins lost and the Phillies lost, and of course the Diamondbacks lost. Phillies got beat last night. Diamondbacks took advantage of it after both teams won on Tuesday night. Colorado continues to play terrific baseball at home. 2-1 delivery. 2-2 to Wilkerson. I mean, Colorado believes it's very much in the wild card, Joe. They're only 5.5 out.
Oh, absolutely.
Number by the mound. Cintron back to get it. Throws. Not in time. Good effort by out.
Man, he went a long way. He's in short right field right now, working his way back to his position. But I tell you, he really roamed far to his left to come up with that ball and throw on the run. Great attempt. Great attempt. Here, watch it. I mean, he's still moving. His momentum is taking him away. He can't get a heck of a lot on the throw, but he made it awful close. Just did make it. What Baerga tried to help him.
Well, now Wilfredo Cordero will be brought on to pinch hit for Ron Callaway. Cordero at 277, 12 home runs, 48 batted in. Good hitter. Cordero started the first 2 games of this series. Went 1 for 3, had a double, scored a run in the opener. And then last night, 1 for 3. Strike 1. Oropesa has really done a nice job on right-handed batters. Knock on wood, you don't throw the jinx on him now. But he has been solid against the righties and the lefties so far this season. Right-handers hitting 175, left-handers 170. Can't do it much better than that.
He's got to be careful with Baerga over there because not normally a first baseman. He was moving in off the bag.
One and one. Go ahead, run aboard to begin the Montreal 9th inning.
Looking for that ground ball that they can turn it over.
Two and one to Cordero. Wilkerson will again draw a throw over. Cordero has bounced into 10 double plays so far this year. Wilkerson can run a little bit. 9 stolen bases so far this season. Not a big lead over there right now. Pulled foul. Look out.
You know, the interesting thing too, Tom, when Oropesa threw to first base the previous pitch, not this one of course, Cintron, his shortstop, was covering the bag, and Wilkerson gave it a good false start, and a lot of times base runners will do that to see who's covering. Now Cordero is a right-hand batter. You would think that the shortstop would be holding and the second baseman would be covering.
2-2. Grounded.
So many things when you're playing the game to look at, and good ball clubs will do that. Give it a good false start off first base to see who's covering, and your batter, if he's alert, usually they are, that's big information for him.
Two to Cordero. Another long look over, and it's in the air to right field. Mondesi there. One away. Now to be left-handed batting Edwards Guzman, 0 for 3 in the game. 4 runs, 9 hits from Montreal. They've left 3 men on base. 4 runs, 8 hits, and 9 left on for the Diamondbacks. Although the Diamondbacks have not had a hit since Hillenbrand's run-scoring 2-out single in the 4th inning. Bunted on the third baseline, foul. I mean, the last hit they got was against Tomooka. We told you this Montreal bullpen since the middle of June has an ERA of over 6. To Guzman.
Just wonder, watching Frank talk to St. Clair over there, if he's saying, what is he bunting for? He's got a big hole between first and second, and he's bunting. We can't get him to third on the bunt.
Breaking ball away, 1-1 to Guzman. One ball, 1 strike. Oropesa again, a long look over at Wilkerson. Breaking ball low.
Guzman taking a long look at his third base coach to see if he wants to put a play on. 1 man out here. Big hole between first and second. May want to take advantage of that, but you just never know. Can't assume a thing. A lot going on right here.
2-1. Oropesa look over. And a breaking ball down low. 3-1.
Well, do you run him? Do you hold him?
I run him. Do you?
I run him too.
There he goes, and it's ball 4 low and away.
Ooh, the base on balls.
Well, now Centron coming in to visit with Oropesa. You have another left-handed batter coming up in Schneider. But go-ahead run in his 4-4 game in the 9th inning is at second base. And only 1 out.
Well, Centron took charge of that infield right there. And I don't know what he said to Oropesa, but he was very forceful in what he said, and then told second baseman what's happening, who's covering if the ball's hit back to Oropesa. Can't afford to have any miscommunication here. Everybody better be on the same page.
And a breaking ball away, and Eddie all of a sudden has gotten a little wild. Something he's not been all year.
Throwing a lot of breaking balls,
yep,
and not throwing them for strikes. He's been in control of the breaking ball.
Two on, 1 out, and a 1-0. 2-0 down low. Well, now Chuck Niffen out to visit with Oropesa.
Simply telling him you got to throw strikes. We can't do a thing if you don't throw strikes. He's got to sit there and watch it and moan and groan. Base on balls.
And a guy like Schneider, I mean, Joe, doesn't he have to be saying right now, here we are, 2-0. This guy's got to throw me a strike. Now, he's walked the hitter in front of you, Joe. We can get into this all the time. But in this situation, I mean, you got the guy you want to close the game in the on-deck circle if you can get a base hit and give your team a run.
Exactly.
He hacking here 2-0 for you?
For me, he is. Absolutely. Because he may let up to get a strike.
Borderline strike. Schneider wasn't going to swing at something that he didn't like, and he didn't like that.
Didn't like the call.
No.
Not at all.
So I'm like a catcher will do. He'll ask Tim Sheeta about the call without showing him up.
Somebody was chirping on the bench, though.
2-1 now to Schneider. 2 on, 1 out. Fouled off, and Eddie has battled back to even the count. Big pitch coming up.
Biggest pitch of the game right here.
And no activity in the Diamondback pen.
Nope. Nobody's up.
Valverde was up earlier. He did not pitch last night. Oropesa and Manti, the only 2 relievers used in the game by Bob Brenly last night. He went through a pile of them in the opener.
Get that breaking ball over, you get a strikeout.
Breaking ball pulled foul.
Let that ball up. He got away with one. Go back to that question that was asked. What can a young pitcher learn from fellas like Schilling and Johnson and a veteran pitcher? Right here, you can learn focus. Oropesa's got to focus and really have control of what he wants to do with this pitch.
2 on, 1 out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball up and in. Full count, Joe. 1 away. You start him here if you're Frank Robinson.
I would assume, I would think he'd start him, although Moeller's got a clear look at third base. You get a strikeout, throw him out. But by starting him, you're breaking up that infield. If you get a ground ball, and may sneak through there. I would look for him to be running. I'd be ready to throw.
3-2, and if Eddie looks over at first, they throw the guy out.
They had him picked off at first base, but of course Baerga's got to play back. Watch. Look at first base. Oh man, he was breaking right away.
3-2 to Schneider. Runners go. Fouled off.
You know, you might wonder, you say, where was Baerga? Baerga's got to lay back. He can't be standing on the bag with a man on second. He's got to play back with a left-hand hitter. The only thing you could do if Oropesa would have looked at first base and maybe even just flipped the ball to Baerga behind him, but that's very difficult to do. You have to play where he's playing. He was a bit anxious and just got away with it, that's all. Because Oropesa was worried about the guy on second. A lot going on right here, man. I mean, it's like putting a quarter in the slot machine. I mean, you've got sevens and everything flying around here. A lot of activity, a lot of thinking. Look at Cintron trying to keep him close. Big pitch.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 4-4 game in the 9th. Runners go. And Oropesa has walked the batter. 2 in a row here in the 9th inning. Goodness gracious.
Now you're going to have a pinch hitter. Valverde's up. He's going to make a move here. Got to bring him in as soon as he's announced.
We brought up earlier that Valverde was up, so obviously the big fella felt he didn't need any more than a handful of pitches to get ready again.
Well, he's got to be ready because that's a communication from the bullpen. If not, Brennan could go through a whole acting job here and install it for as long as he wants. But apparently Valverde said he was ready. I see Finley's going out to center field. So you got a double switch.
And here comes a big man from the bullpen. An infield walk and an infield hit and a pair of walks have loaded the bases for Montreal here in the 9th inning with 1 away. And our next direct connect to the bullpen brings on the rookie right-hander Jose Valverde.
One man out. Tough spot for the youngster.
A disappointing effort by Oropesa. I mean, the infield hit to begin the inning. That's just the way it goes. A great effort by Cintron to get there. Got an out. But then you have a left-handed batter in Guzman who rarely ever plays. Eddie walked him. And then Schneider hitting under 240. A left-handed batter, and you walk him. So now a tall order for the big man. Jose Valverde enters the game with the bases loaded and 1 out. And this is our Geico Direct moment as Jamie Carroll is announced as a pinch hitter. Carroll started each of the first 2 games of the series. 0 for 4 last night. 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging, and a pair of ground balls to short. Fastball in there, a strike. But against Randy Johnson the night before, Carroll went 2 for 4, a pair of singles, stole a base, was on base 3 times. It's the first game Carroll has not started in over 2 weeks here tonight. 0-1 to Carroll. Valverde delivers. Swing and a miss.
Just reared back and fired that one. Big guys. That's exactly what you're looking for from a relief pitcher. The trouble is there. Rear back and fire. Don't go to thinking, just go to throwing.
Two to Carroll. The pause and the pitch popped up in a foul ground, but out of play. Well, he said Carroll had a pair of balls at the shortstop last night. You take that right here and right now, right at Cintron. Carroll has bounced into 8 double plays this season. And they try to squeeze, and it's fouled away for strike 3. Can you believe that? A suicide squeeze on an 0-2 pitch with the bases loaded and 1 out.
And that was the toughest pitch he would ever get, the suicide squeeze. And I mean, you can see the runner breaking right away. It's a high tide fastball. Boy, you talk about the element of surprise. It all goes back to the manager. If it works, it's great. Didn't work, look out. Brains were spilling on that play. Woo!
Man. All right, 2 away in the inning. Now Andy Chavez a batter. Swinging a foul ball out of play. We brought it up earlier. I don't know what it is about this kid, nor do the Expos for that matter. But Chavez tonight came up with a runner in scoring position and a sac fly RBI. He's knocked in a run, at least one, and now 7 of his last 8 starts. And a .500 batter over the last 8 games with runners in scoring position.
He puts the bat on the ball. Tough to strike out.
0-1 to Chavez. Fastball high and away.
Well, Muller's just giving a sign to throw strikes. He's just putting that glove right behind the plate in the strike zone. Nothing fancy about it.
Bases loaded, 2 away. A ball and a strike on Chavez in a 4-4 game of the night. Swing and a miss. Bottom fell out of that pitch. Look at the big man. He wants the ball.
Throw a splitter like that, you don't want to waste any time. Watch it. Looks like a strike, and then down she goes, and there's nothing you can do. He's ready. He's pumping.
Boy, he is fired up out there in the mound.
I mean, he's on high octane right now, boy. That's $1.91 a gallon. Woo!
Two and 2 on Andy Chavez.
That's as far as you want to go right there. Oh, I'd love to see that pitch he threw where he swung and missed. That's a splitter.
The 24-year-old rookie right-hander Jose Valverde trying to get out of this bases loaded 1-out jam. The 2-2 pitch. Fly ball left center field. How about the big man? The big man slamming the door.
And that was a big door to slam. He just came in. I tell you, he didn't go to thinking, he went to throwing.
Who could forget that 1999 season early in the year? The Diamondbacks and the Expos. Game 1, Jay Bell, game winner, walk-off home run. Game 2, Luis Gonzalez, game winner to walk off. And then in the 3rd game of the series, going for the sweep, Matt Williams, walk-off home run. Really a series, Joe, that set the tone for what turned into a championship year, the first Western Division championship year for the Diamondbacks.
Boy, I tell you, that was some. I remember that series. Everybody that was ever
Absolutely.
You had to remember it. That says it all right there. Rally time, baby.
Steve Finley came on as part of a double switch when Valverde entered the game. So he will lead off against a new Montreal pitcher and the former Diamondback left-hander Eric Knott. Knott retired the only batter he faced last night, Luis Gonzalez, on a ground out to the mound. He allowed a run on 2 hits in 1 inning of work in the series opener. 2-0 to Finley. Steve batting for the first time, playing for the first time since he left the game on Tuesday after that collision with Junior Spivey. 2-1 to count on Steve Finley. 3-1. Wilkerson moves from first base to left field. Cordero remains in a game to play first base. Popped up on a 3-1 pitch, one away. Where was this pitch on 3-1? Let's take a look.
Looked like a strike. Got under it. He just got under it. You can see he had pretty good beat on it.
Now Luis Gonzalez, 1 of 3, knocked in a run with a single in the 3rd inning. The Diamondbacks have not had a hit since Hillenbrand knocked in their 4th run of the game. It came in the 4th inning. They have only had 2 base runners since the 4th inning. A pair of walks, one of them intentionally, in the 7th. One and 2 on Gonzalez. Nod the wind and then stopped as Gonzalo asked for timeout. One-two pitch. Fouled out of play. Two away in the inning. Now Shea Hillenbrand with a chance to end this, baby. He's knocked in a pair in a game of night. And they're striking the knees.
It's not. It's been in the 90s. He's relying on that fastball. He's been throwing strikes with it.
Down and in on a check swing, and it's 1-1 to Shea Hillenbrand. Right back to the mound, and we are on our way to the 10th inning. Nod mows him down in order. End of 9, a 4-4 ball game. Look at our buddy Mikey up there, Joe, in the upper deck, ready to flip over number 500.
He's going to get Hermit of the Year award. He just sits up there by himself in his signs. Good Diamondback fan.
Boy, he is a great fan. Great fan. Part of the order here for Jose Valverde. Came on with the bases loaded and 1 out. And got the final 2 outs to end the inning. But Vidro, Guerrero, and Cabrera coming up here in the Montreal 10th of a 4-4 affair. One and 2 to Vidro.
I don't think he fouled that pitch off.
I don't think he did either.
I think Moeller just missed it. No, he missed it by a yard and a half. Both of them.
Bouncing ball right side. Cato throws out Vidro, one away. Well, here we go again. When you're in a tie game, late in the ball game, and you got a guy like Guerrero coming up, you don't walk away from a television. And look at Big Valverde. He's ready.
I tell you, he's got to really focus on every pitch, because with this guy, gunfight at OK Corral mentality could get you hurt.
Slider down and away, and they appeal. He didn't go around.
Sometimes a pitcher will say, well, we'll see. I'll throw my best pitch right down the middle and see if he can hit it. I'm not so sure I do it with this guy.
One 1-0 on Vladimir Guerrero. Fastball low and away.
If it's anywhere near the plate, he's going to leave his shoes to get at it.
Three 3-0.
I wouldn't think he'd be hitting 3-0 here, but I wouldn't assume it.
No, not with this guy.
No, because you don't know. I mean, what is the strike zone? For him, the strike zone is a released pitch as soon as he throws it.
He can't groove one right down the middle. And it's ball 4. A 1-out walk to Guerrero. And now it'll be Orlando Cabrera. You got to wonder if Guerrero's gone in at bat the entire year, where 4 pitches, not being an intentional walk, he didn't take a hack.
Be hard to check it, but be worth checking.
Well, he's only walked 26 times all year if you take away intentional walks.
He can run too. You can't take him for granted.
Right now, Cabrera. Slider down and away, ball 1.
Far enough. We don't need any more excitement here. Need a ground ball.
One 1-0 on Orlando Cabrera.
Guerrero's one of those base runners that looks like he's got to kickstart his body by wiggling his fingers of his right hand. Gets his lead. There he goes.
2-0 to Cabrera. Well, back in the 6th inning, Diamondbacks led 4-2. And Cabrera hit a 2-run home run off the fair pole. With Guerrero aboard to tie the game, and that's where we stand.
Sounded like Big Ben.
In there, a strike. Well, Guerrero not running as much this year. Joe talked about, though, he can steal a base. I mean, last year, he hit 39 home runs and stole 40 bases.
Well, you don't want him sliding because he's such a good hitter. But in a spot like this, you might turn him loose.
Popped up down the right field line and out of play. Guerrero would have been a 40-40 man, Joe. The last game of the year they played in Cincinnati, he hit a fly ball into left center field that hit the top of the wall and came back into fair territory, playable territory, rather than bouncing into seats. He'd have been 40-40.
Boy, just think about that. That's an amazing, amazing 40-40. What a stat.
Two and two on Orlando Cabrera. And a pitch in the dirt. And the count is full. Well, you got to believe Guerrero's running here.
Oh, yeah. This could be one of those strike him out, throw him out. You see him checking to make sure that he got the sign right.
Cabrera has only struck out 46 times in 447 at bats.
He's going.
There he goes. Fouled out of play.
He's still looking as he walks back to first base. Guerrero checking with the third base coach, and now he'll get confirmation from his first base coach. He's going. He's running.
Three and two again on Orlando Cabrera. Runner goes, and a fly ball into straightaway center field. Finley with a beat on. Two gone.
Let's just show you how much goes on now. Just think about it, Tom. You got man on first, so you got first, a big hole between first and second, and you got the left-hand hitter up there who can pull the ball. Do you start the runner? Do you hold him? I mean, there's a lot going on. Look, this is where he's trying to shoot for, that spot in between first and second, that big hole.
Fastball in there, strike one to Brad Wilkerson. Wilkerson, a pair of hits in the ball game here tonight. Boy, don't take this fella lightly now. He's got 13 home runs and nearly 60 batted in. Fastball outside, black. 0-2.
So he's pitching like a 40-year-old man out there. I mean, he has really made some pitches. He needs one more here.
Something now. He is something.
He's special.
Yep. It's going to be a wild ride these final 7+ weeks of the regular season. And why not be a part of it all? Tickets available for every Diamondback home game the rest of the way, including this weekend against the Mets, that big 13-game homestand that'll follow a week later. So get out here immediately. And I mean immediately, brother. They got the brooms out there, and Mikey's ready to go, Joe.
He's not going to put the glasses on. Don't need the shades, Mikey. Need a run.
The court jester. Mondesi is sent. Montreal tap. Oh, Monday.
Wow. Look at that Diamondback bench coming at home plate. Oh, just listen.
Just like 99. What a time for Raul Mondesi to hit his first home run as a Diamondback in 4. This 6-year franchise, 500 wins, the fastest expansion team to 500 wins ever.
No doubt about it. And Moore did not know it.
Miller Lite, player of the game. Big Jose Valverde.
Oh, yeah, he will. He will. Look at that bench. Oh, Raul Mondesi. Welcome home. Welcome home. All that hard work in a short time, it's paid off already, Tom.
Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by Checker Auto Parts, the power of the star. Nissan, shift. Nextel, official wireless partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Budweiser, the best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. KFC, there's fast food, then there's KFC. MasterCard, the preferred card of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Cox Communications, visit us at cox.com. Blimpie, the official sub of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona Department of Health Services, who reminds you to inhale life. And by 76 and Circle K, your home team.
Diamondbacks win it over Montreal in the bottom of the 10th inning on a walk-off home run by Raul Mondesi. And what a really a hearty congratulations goes out to this entire Diamondbacks franchise. Again, it is worth repeating. I mean, we have been spoiled rotten here in town with 3 divisional championships, a National League pennant, and a World Series championship. But when you consider the Arizona Diamondbacks, the fastest expansion team in the history of the game to get to 500 wins, they are the 6th fastest franchise, period, to reach 500 wins. It really is a remarkable accomplishment for all of those that have helped put this entire organization together. Keep cool as the season heats up by sporting your summer threads. Get your MLB authentic caps, jerseys, shirts, and more at azdiamondbacks.com, the azdiamondbacks.com shop for all things baseball. This Sunday on News Channel 3, D-backs playing hardball. This week's show features an interview with Matt Caden, the Miguel Batista Field dedication, and a chance to win tickets to a Diamondback game. It airs immediately after Sunday's game against the Mets.